Hello, my name is Michael Golubeck, and these are my 10 in 5 Google tools, tips, and strategies. So here's a brief overview. I broke it down as far as research, assessment, collaboration, and feedback, productivity, and exploration tools. All of the tools that I chose were Google features. However, one was an add-on. That's the Kaizana add-on for feedback. As far as research, the cool tool that I chose was Google Custom Search Engine, and you can find that at google.com/CSE. You can create customizable search engines in your Google account, and why that's important is it actually limits the results to pre-indexed URLs. So you actually provide the URLs that the search engine is going to be looking through, and that instead of the students typing in Google in the Google search engine and getting 5 million different results, and then having to fish through all that stuff to try to get something credible, you've already provided them with that. So it's a shortcut for them. And you can also share and embed the code and share it publicly as well. It's also completely editable, and the themes are customizable as well. So I'm also big on assessment, collaboration, and feedback. So digital badges are important in my classroom, at least. And one tool that you can use to create them is using Google Drawings. And so in Drawings, you can actually just design a common theme for the digital badges. So the shape and the color and whatnot, and then you can customize each badge depending on what its purpose is, using clip art or other images and the text and things like that. And these drawings can actually be imported into Sheets, so you can create a spreadsheet document that has all of the students' progress on there as well. So for each assignment, or if they, each time they level up or whatever, you can have the little badge directly into a Google Sheet for them, so that they can see their progress. Google Docs for group reading. This is also a very cool tool. It allows for collaborative classroom read-alouds in the classroom. I was an English teacher, so you can submit or upload a document with whatever reading you want to go over in class that day, and instead of students interrupting each other or talking during the actual read aloud, they can have a real-time group commenting on the document itself. So they can respond to each other, they can highlight things, they can go over it while there's the reading going on in the background. It also promotes a lot of discussion, as some students might not feel comfortable speaking about something in front of the class. There's that little buffer there of a screen that they can just type on. So here's the add-on that I chose. It's the Kaizana Google add-on, and this is to provide students with feedback. Um, while typical Google Docs allow you to respond on there with text, this also has the added features of voice feedback onto documents. You have the text feedback as well, and then there's a tag feature on there that you can actually highlight something in their work and link a URL to it. So say they needed some additional information about something, or needed more clarity, you can actually send a URL that gives them, sends them to a link that shows them tips on something, or grammar tips, or whatever. So very cool, and the students can respond with the same three features back to you. Google Voice Typing. I also taught special needs students, and this is a very cool feature, as some of the students had difficulty writing actual documents. While we worked on developing their writing, to get the ideas and things on paper, you can just click on the voice typing feature on Google Docs, and they can just speak into the microphone on the computer, and the text just appears. Granted, you have to speak clearly and slowly, but it's a very interesting feature. It doesn't always work. My dad has a strong accent, so anytime he tries to say the number three, he'll end up getting free, sri, tree, but never three. But still a cool feature, and you can always edit whatever needs to be edited. It's also great for group work or transcripts as well. So say you have a Socratic seminar, you can actually have an entire transcript of all the speaking that was going on in there. So productivity is very important in today's schools. The school that I was working at in 2012, 2013, at CPS, we were on actually the chopping block when they were doing all the downsizing and cutting of schools and positions and things. So we were at risk of school closure, and one way we prevented that was raising our passing rate to 90%. And one way we did that was using Google Form sheets and developing an RTI program around that, where we did a lot of data tracking. So we can do data tracking in Google Forms and Sheets, and it's real time as well, organized, collaborative, and you can keep track of all the students' subjects and their real time grades, and it creates allows for immediate intervention. So it's very cool, because there was like a bunch of different programs that the CPS provides, but we found that Google actually was the handiest. So one other thing is the school that I taught at when I was at CPS was no more than 10 miles away from the Loop. However, the majority of my students have never actually been to downtown. We could literally see the city skyline from my room, which was on the third floor of the building, but they've never been there, so it was actually quite depressing to hear that. We also didn't have the funding to take them on field trips all the time. So one way you could do that is virtually. So one cool feature is Google Street View. It allows you to search different neighborhoods and cities, not just in your own area, but obviously around the world. So if you're teaching the kids about China or something like that, or Rome, they can actually visit the areas, the places in Rome or wherever, and you create virtual field trips that way. You can also create virtual scavenger hunts, so it gives them a little bit more activity in the it's the whole competitive nature of students. So it's actually kind of fun to do it that way. And the same goes for Google Earth's flight simulator. So it's not just your typical Google Earth; it's sort of an interactive game because it's like it's a flight simulation game. But so they can have an interactive aerial exploration of the city, so it's a different perspective instead of just a street view. And this is good, say for example, you're teaching them about how the Chicago fire reshaped the structure of how the city was designed, the planning of the city. So you can see the grid work and stuff like that of downtown that way. So also for virtual scavenger hunts and whatnot. One thing that I'm very interested in is space travel and Mars exploration and things like that. So Google Sky is provides high resolution interactive space travel. So you can actually look at the features of the moon or the features on Mars and things like that as they come up, and it's updated regularly. Some of the stuff is old, some of the Mars, the moon stuff is from like 1960, so you can see anomalies and things like that, and then it gives you explanations of these anomalies too. So it allows for virtual travel, and you can just scavenger hunts on the surface of Mars and things like that. It's pretty cool. And then finally, Google Cultural Institute, which is an interactive history and cultural exploration. Has so much information on there, so you can use that for research. I like to use it for web quests. So those are my features and tools associated with Google. Very, very cool stuff, and hopefully they'll produce a lot more. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much.